Hello there my friends, you're listening to Ebird Online, and finally, it's the end of an era. Well, maybe not an era, but just a fairly shit season. But this is my final video regarding the tell-all, and tomorrow I'm going to start covering the brand new season of 90 Day Fiancé Season 9. And so guys, I saved the best till last, Mike and Ximena. And so at the very start of the tell-all, Sean says Mike and Ximena are back together again. Really, Sean? Somebody tell Ximena to tell her face. Actually, when I get to thinking about it, her face probably already does know. That's why she looks so dissatisfied with life. But guys, enough of that. Before we start discussing the shit show that's Mike and Ximena, something très interesting occurs. Just before they were planning to begin, Memphis said, "I don't feel very well. These lights are giving me a headache." And off she trotted, back to the green room. Hamza went after her briefly, but apparently she was so sick she had to go home, and she will no longer be taking part in this tell-all. Oddly enough, Hamza decides to stay put. And guys, I just want to let you know, I call absolute BS on this so-called storyline. There is absolutely no way that production would just let her walk out like that. She gave absolutely no warning. It's not as if 10 minutes before or half an hour before she said, "Guys, I don't feel very well. I might have to go home." She just upped and left. If this storyline had any shred of truth running through it, production would have surely said, "Can you just stay for 15 minutes and we'll race through your segment? It won't take long because your storyline was as flat as a pancake this season." But that didn't happen. They just let her go. And guys, remember a couple of seasons back when Andrew, you remember him, the gaslighter extraordinaire? Rasputin asked that Andrew lose the look because Andrew was ruining his reputation. That one, remember when he decided to walk out? Production spent at least 15 minutes trying to coax him, make him stay, if not longer. But Memphis, oh no, see you later. And so it's my belief that Memphis has skedaddled out of this tell-all so that she can avoid any type of interrogation on her, how can we say, rather numerically bewildering, full gestation timeline. Oh, come on guys, you know there wasn't one. Full gestation period, I mean. I wonder what they're going to call him. My money's on baby preterm. And we all know at this point that Memphis has actually had the baby. She is definitely not still pregnant. I remember reading somewhere that Hamza missed the baby's birth by just 5 weeks. And so Memphis is rocked up at the tell-all. Her and Kim apparently are great friends and they talk all the time. Kim, her friend, didn't ask about the baby. Ella, who loves babies, although she couldn't eat a whole one, didn't ask about the baby. Ben, the pastor, he's baptised 1 million children. He didn't ask about the baby. Sean didn't ask about the baby. Interviewer de facto, Jasmine, didn't ask about the baby. Nobody asked about the bloody baby. Guys, I smell a rat. Guys, I'd love to know what you think. Let me know in comments below. Okay, so just before we begin, please don't forget to like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. Hit it, press it, smash it, caress it. Subscribe, my friends, subscribe. And also press that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Right, and so without further ado, I give you Mike and Ximena. So, from the confines of the green room, tell-all battle axe Kim lets everybody know that she doesn't like Ximena. Quelle surprise. She told fellow losers Gino and Ben that Mike has such a good heart and he was paying everything for her, and it really irritated her the way she didn't let him see those kids when he was leaving. And Ben and Gino nod in agreement. And guys, I think this is what we'd call a Bermuda Triangle of fucking idiocy. If Kim, Gino and Ben are all in agreement that somebody's great, we know that they're not. They're very likely a full-time dickhead. And then Kim said, "Nobody should support you. You're grown. It's disgusting." What? I know good and well that Kim has access to the internet, and she knows by now that Mike asked Ximena not to work anymore and said, "I'll support you." How is it disgusting to have someone pay for you? The only time I'd consider it to be disgusting is if you're in some way tricking the person or pulling the wool over their eyes. And so Sean introduces the couple to the stage, and we begin with the argument where Mike called Ximena stupido and she went absolutely wild, and he refused to leave the house on account of the fact that he was the rent payer. I can never think about that without laughing. But wait, what's this? Sean asks, "Are you guys back together?" And Mike and Ximena both say yes. And Ximena says that Mike's going to change. And Ximena tells everybody, "Oh really? He's now a witchetty grub as opposed to a weird bug. And then the whole cast agree that Ximena has spoken about Mike very, very poorly. And Jasmine said, I'm not sure why she's with Mike, but it's not because they're in love. And guys, then Jasmine and Ximena start having this massive conversation in Spanish, during which Ximena says, no, I'm not in love with Mike, but he knows that. And immediately, Jasmine turned supergrass. She told Mike, who promptly began to cry. Guys, things are looking up. There's now a slight glimmer of hope that I might be able to add to Ximena's list of disses for this season for Mike. But good lord, there's a sour face here. Kim's absolutely fuming. And she said, Ximena, this is a good dude. He's great with your kids. And he's paying all the bills. He's proven to you what a good man he is. Has he? What more could you want? And guys, it would seem that Ximena's declined to answer. Please, let the Ebird assist you. Kim, here's what more Ximena could want. Number 1, somebody who doesn't purchase sex. Number 2, somebody who doesn't play with Lego like a child. Number 3, somebody with friends and a social circle. Number 4, somebody masculine and outgoing. Number 5, somebody who doesn't live with their parents. Number 6, somebody who's good in bed. Number 7, somebody who's neither a weird bug nor a witchetty grub. Number 8, someone who doesn't track dog shit through your home. And someone who doesn't burp and fart to order. And finally, somebody who isn't desperate AF. Kim, if you need any more, let a bitch know. And then Ximena said that Mike was very rude towards her, and that he's very rough. But on the other hand, she admitted that she was rude also. And she said, why lie? Yes, I am rude. And again, Sojaboy and Hamza both said, you need to get out of this relationship. It's very one-sided. Guys, we've heard this before somewhere. Who from? Enter John and Nelcy. And guys, they're actually in studio. Immediately, Ximena said, oh, I hate her. Of course you do, Ximena, because she has just one purpose in life, and that's exposing you and your antics. And straight away, Nelcy went for the jugular. She said Mike's just buying her love. She's not interested in him at all. In fact, you can see when he tries to touch her or kiss her, you can tell she doesn't like him. Now come on, Ximena, you do actually recoil upon Mike's every touch. And Mike tells the rest of the contestants that he still pays for her rent and gives her money for food. But Ximena's not having any of it. And she said, I'm not just in this for money. It's not true. Guys, no, she's right. She's in it for plastic surgery, the shiny, glittery glare of the TV camera, and whatever else she can get out of it. At this point, I feel as if Sean should have asked some questions, and one of those questions should have been, Ximena, tell us just one thing, anything, that you like about Mike. I guarantee you she'd have to think long and hard about it. And Kim said, the last night, it broke my heart when you wouldn't let him stay in the apartment that he pays for. But guys, I'm with Ximena on this one. As far as I'm concerned, the way that Mike was behaving, how unhinged he was behaving, he was a worry. She'd already let him stay one night. But then he was continuing to try and change her mind, and he was kicking off and being, I don't know, belligerent and aggressive. And remember when Kim said earlier, oh, I really feel for him. All he wanted to do was say goodbye to the kids. Maybe, maybe not. But I think it was much more likely that he wanted to have one last chance to change Ximena's mind. And she didn't want that. At that point, she was resolute. So I agree it was not the right thing to let Mike stay for one last night. And then Kim said, I have loads of friends in California. People are always asking me about you, Mike. I can hook you up. Kim, are they anything like you? If so, I'd like to politely decline on his behalf. And so Mike's friend John said, if you were to lose your job tomorrow, Ximena would be gone. And Mike said, Ximena, is that true? And she said, no. Why would I leave you? Rather unconvincingly. But Nelcy couldn't help herself. She jumped in and said, you've been bleeding him dry for a year. All you want is his money. And Ximena said, well, yeah, I guess you could say that. And Nelcy said, oh my God, I can't believe it. She's even admitting it. This is ridiculous. And I've got to admit, it kind of is. And then Sojaboy said one of the most intelligent things I think he's ever said. And it's something that I said in the very first video. Guys, you're his friends. It's your duty to try and help him to stop this madness. And I think it is. For some reason he has a mental block. He just can't seem to let go of Ximena. I think they need to bring other women around him, I really do. Someone will tolerate his farting and burping. I can't imagine who, but I guess there's somebody out there. I do believe there's somebody for everyone. Except, of course, for Big Ed. And guys, next, Ximena stands up and says, this is it, forget it. Mike, we're over. And she rips off her mic and she storms off camera. Mike looks visibly distressed. God, he's pathetic sometimes. Meanwhile, Nelcy's still squawking in the background. She doesn't love you, Mike. She doesn't love you. She'll bleed you dry. There'll be nothing left of you. And Mike said, just before we came on camera, Ximena told me she'd give me a second chance. And Nelcy said, a second chance? She's giving you a second chance. Oh my God. And Mike said to production, somebody try and get her back. Mike, you've been trying to get her back for the whole year. She's not having any of it. Sean asked Mike, how do you feel right now? Oh, Sean, if this is going to be the calibre of your questioning, just don't bother. Let's not, and say we did. And Mike said, I feel like shit. And to compound problems, Ximena's back. Oh, Lord. Guys, it's just a mess. Nelcy starts shouting at her once more, and she promptly gets up and goes again. But Mike's not having any of this now, and Mike says, Nelcy, just shut up or you can leave. Nelcy said, right, that's it. I'll leave then. And she storms out of the studio. And so in the world's most boring game of musical chairs, Ximena comes back once again. It would seem she's had a costume change. See, Mike, she told you she'd change, and now she has. Now it's your turn. That's all the changing she's going to do, guys. I kid you not. And Mike pleaded with her. He said, if I can change, can we have another shot at this? And Ximena said yes. But then John, Mike's friend, jumped in with a brilliant question. He said, would you ever want what you're doing right now to be done to your sons by another woman? And she very definitively said, no, never. And John said, well, there you go. Why are you doing it to Mike? And of course for that, she has no answer. And so the rest of the cast are all really feeling sorry for Mike now. And Ximena said, I'm going to really try hard. I'm going to try to learn English. And we'll see how things go when we go to Cartagena. And with that, she says goodbye and makes good her leave. All of the rest of the cast tell him, Mike, stop crying. And I can definitely tell he's garnering everybody's sympathy. And finally Nelcy comes back and she tells him, let's go to the DR. I'll find you a girl there. But Mike shook his head and said no. And in a final word to the cast, he said, you heard what she said. She's going to try, and I think that she will. And that's where we leave things for the whole of this tell-all. Oh God. Guys, I really don't know what to say. It's very clear to me Ximena's just longing things out so she can get a few more months' rent out of Mike, even if she wants to, which I don't know if she does, but you cannot make yourself love somebody. And Mike, I fear, is too much of an acquired taste to just think, well, I know, I'll tolerate him. You'd have to really like Mike to put up with him. And we've all seen that Ximena doesn't. It's very clear that Ximena sees this relationship as a transactional one. And as much as Mike's friends try and tell him that, and the whole of the cast, and in fact probably everybody on planet Earth, he won't see it. He wants to believe in the dream. And that's more than likely, I think, because he hasn't had a girlfriend for about 20 years. He fears if he lets Ximena go, he'll never get another one. Now I'd like to just quickly circle back to something I said at the beginning of this season, and I said all of Mike's friends and Mike's family, instead of just saying this girl's going to bleed you dry, help him to find somebody else, give him opportunities, invite him out, help to socialise him. And I got quite a lot of clapback from people saying he's a grown man, he should be able to find his own partner, he should be able to make his own way in life. Come on now guys, we all know what people should be able to do. But what would be the point of having friends, of having a network, if it wasn't to help out in times of need? And if ever I saw somebody in a time of need, it's Mike, and it's now. But let's be really clear. I think that Ximena's a user, and I don't think that she loves him. Having said that, Mike, you set yourself up to fail. You went online, you got a cam girl, you told her to come offline, and don't worry, I'll support you. And so the situation in which you find yourself is all of your own making. And Mike didn't get pulled up on that at all during this tell-all, and nor did he get pulled up on his bad behaviour when Ximena said, can you please leave my home? Mike managed to manipulate the whole of the cast into thinking that he was the sole victim in this whole drama, and that he's done nothing wrong but open his heart to love. And Sean, who should have watched the whole season, even by the point of this tell-all, completely failed to question Mike about his own role in this sorry saga. Don't tell somebody to stop work with the offer of financial support and then complain when you're doing so. Mike plays the victim very, very well, and it would seem he has a lot of people fooled. Guys, please let me know what you think about Mike and Ximena in the comments down below. Will Mike ever get rid of her? I think he's just got to wait and hope for the day that Ximena says, I don't want to go out with you, regardless of money. That's the only time this relationship will end, I believe. But let me know what you think in comments down below. And also don't forget to like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. I start tomorrow or Saturday reviewing the new couples for the new season, so watch out for that. Guys, thank you so much for listening. You've been listening to Ebird Online, and I bid you good day.